Good evening, cheeseheads, and welcome to the Cheese Room tonight. I'm your host, Gibbo, back again, second week in a row. Please take it easy on me again. Tonight, I've got three wonderful guests. First, as always, James with me on the Wednesday Club. Drinking Guinness tonight, ain't you, James?
Yep, in a San Miguel bar.
And how are you, mate? Good day?
Oh yeah, I'm feeling great. It's been a bit warm today, so I've been lounging around in the garden actually all day. It's been delightful. I went university shopping yesterday, so I deserve a day off really. Thanks for having me on as ever. Hello to everyone in the comments. Got some lovely guests.
And the first of our two new guests tonight is influencer Flicks. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Have you were at the game on Saturday, weren't you? You had a good weekend?
Yes, I was at the game Saturday, shelf side, right near the away fans, so even better, rubbing it in. 4-1 win, top of the league. It's all good, mate.
Good, man. That's what I like to hear. And lastly, our second new guest. Usually it's John bringing his mates on, but his son's done that tonight and he's introduced us to Owen. Owen, how are you, pal?
Very good. Absolutely amazing.
Buzzing to be on?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely ecstatic.
Excited to start talking about Spurs, yeah?
Yeah, always.
Right then, before we get into it, a little bit of housekeeping. Obviously, if you're a first time watching us, subscribe. But please, if you are watching, hit the like button. It only takes a second, but it's brilliant for us. Helps with the algorithm, whatever that is. But apparently gets us noticed a bit more as well. Also, follow us on the socials, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And sign up to Patreon, which we'll go into a little bit later. But if you want to get involved with like-minded Spurs fans, chat Spurs, loads of different things, stuff like fantasy football, transfer chat, next manager chat, which comes up every 2 or 3 years.
Prediction league.
Prediction league. We'll put the link on later and hopefully sign up so we can chat with you. Anyway, first of all, Southampton Saturday, 4-1 win. James, what do you reckon?
Brilliant game. I got quite relaxed, and that doesn't usually happen watching Spurs, does it? And I'm a new generation Spurs fan. Like, I don't remember the good days, right? I don't remember the 60s or whatever, right? I'm used to the suffering and pain. It's a masochistic relationship, really, with Spurs. But I got relaxed in the second half. When we went 4-1 up, I was just like, bro, let's win. I had it on the TV, and I started doing some cleaning while the game was on. I was relaxed. I wasn't even worried. I was like, yeah, we're fine. Brilliant. Cess was brilliant. I think Royal actually played quite well. And, you know, Kane and Son weren't at 110%, and we still won 4-1 very comfortably. I predicted 5-1, so it would have been nice if we scored a fifth. But, you know, we played really well.
Yeah. Flicks, you were there, as you said, shelf side. What do you think to starting lineup, mate? Was it what you thought it would be?
Yes. I was predicting that lineup. I think Kulusevski was phenomenal. Like James said, Son and Kane was hardly in the game, and it just goes to show, you know, the quality we've got now. Bentenka, Kulusevski now. I couldn't fault the guys, honestly.
Yeah, I thought we may see one new face if we were lucky starting, but I wasn't surprised when it was the same 11, more or less, that finished the back end of last season, was it? It's sort of like his tried and trusted. So, Right, Owen, playing 1-0, go 1-0 down. What were you thinking? Same old Spurs, or do you think, nah, this is just a bit of a lapse? Yeah. We'll get back into this.
No, I was very worried. The way the goal came about, the kind of lapse of judgment in midfield, and then Gineppo running at Royale, and he's not the best 1v1. It showed again. Cross came in, and Højbjerg didn't do enough. It just looked like same old individuals making a small mistake that leads to a massive moment like that. It's the complete wrong start, but we had the correct mentality with the second half and turned it around completely.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Emerson went to ground. I thought, I'm not having a go at him. I thought he had a decent game, but he went to ground a bit easy then, didn't he?
Yeah.
You know, you can't in the box. I know that Gineppo's a decent player, but he's not top quality, and you can't be going to ground with players like that, can you? But obviously, good finish by James Ward-Prowse. He seems to always bag against us, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So then, but we get back into it, start playing. Sessegnon, first goal of the season. James, happy for him? He needed it, didn't he?
Yeah, we've said it before. He very much needs that bit of confidence, right? Because he's still a young lad, and also he's just one of those players I think that really thrives off it. So to get that goal, so first goal of the season, right? That's got to do a lot for him, especially for him to start ahead of Perisic, whatever is going on. It's got to be good for him, and he played well. I'm really happy for him. He's going to be a star for us in a couple of years' time.
Yeah, Owen, same thoughts, same mate.
Yeah, I thought that was his best game for us. He was absolutely amazing, and obviously he scored the second goal, which was ruled out, and that goal was absolutely amazing. The whole move was just great. It's a real shame that was chalked off, but he played amazing.
Yeah, I thought he did well. I think you always feel like when you've watched Sessegnon that there's more to come, don't you? You just think he can do a bit more. What do you reckon, Flix? Do you like Sessegnon?
I do like Sessegnon. I'm going to lie a little bit now. Last season, I know he's had a lot of injuries, but obviously from his Fulham days, incredible. And last Saturday, good, very good. But I want to see Spence. Step in. I've seen him play quite a few times for Nottingham Forest, and he's got the pace, the skill. You name it, the boy's got it. So I'd love to see him.
But like Sess, and because he's still only 21, like Phil's putting it, Sess seems like he's been 21 for 3 years. But they're the few. We got to be looking at those as the future, haven't we? Like I know you say you want to see Spence, but Sessegnon's sort of done. I know he's had a lot of injuries, but he's worked his way into Conte's team, hasn't he? It's not just like, and I think that's what Spence is going to have to do, mate. But I thought it was good to see him get on the end of that cross, and at the end of the game, I think he said that there was a move before where he never got in there, and he got a bit of a bollocking off the coaching staff. So this time he got in there and he got his rewards. But yeah, I thought it was a good goal, and he needed it, didn't he? He needed that goal.
Definitely, build the confidence up and all that.
Yeah. So 1-1. I didn't think there was any doubt about us losing the game then. So obviously we have the corner. Ball goes out to Son. He whips it in. Dyer gets his head on it. Decent goal, Flix.
Definitely. For the game, I actually said a 4-0 win. So their goal was very, very sloppy, as we spoke about earlier. But yeah, man, incredible.
Glad to see Eric Dyer get on the score sheet, were you? Do you like
Eric
Dyer?
I put him Eric Dyer. Yeah, man, definitely. Top defender.
Yeah.
He's had a lot of slack. Recent games, etc. But no, I'm pleased for the guy, definitely.
What about you, Owen? You were Eric Dyer fan?
Yeah, big time. Always have been. Absolutely chuffed for him to get back on the score sheet again. That goal he scored in the game against J-League in pre-season was amazing. He scores again. It looks like he's trying to get that into his game. It's one of the things I felt he missed out as a defender of his, stature and size. He should have been getting on the end and been a bit more clinical when it came to it. But it looks like he's got that edge now.
So we were talking in our YouTube chat group the other week about obviously Kane and Son get a lot of the goals. We think there needed to be a few more goals coming from the three at the back, or whoever steps into those positions at the three at the back. How many goals do you think they'll get between them this year, James? The sort of whoever are playing back three, the centre backs between them.
In the Premier League or entire season, all competitions?
All competitions. What do you think is acceptable and what we need them to be getting?
Probably 5 to 10 goals. I would say if nearer the 10 goal mark.
I would say early double figures, 10, 11.
Yeah, between the three of them. Do you reckon we could do that?
Yeah.
Why not?
If we're playing with fullbacks who can cross the ball and our front line can cross the ball, especially at corners and set pieces, then yeah, definitely. Because Dyer's a big bloke, Romero's a big bloke. If they're in the box, they're obviously pretty decent aerially, so they will score goals. I'm not expecting one of them to bang in 30 this season or something.
No, of
but
course not.
If they can get, if they can each get 3-4 goals, brilliant.
Happy days. So the much maligned Emerson starts at right wing back. Owen, how do you think he performed?
Better. Better than I expected. Obviously, he improved a lot at the end of last season.
Yeah.
And I was more satisfied with keeping him at the club because before I don't often give up on players, but I totally lost the plot when he played. But he actually had a really good game, apart from the Southampton goal where I felt, especially on the byline, he went to ground pretty easy.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. His crossing definitely needs work, but progressively he does make a big difference.
Yeah. I mean, the reason I say about that, I thought he did well. I thought he what I did like about it, because I'm going to move on now to the third goal, was he sort of was involved in winning the ball back in our own half, but he continued that run, and obviously continued that run, got in the box, pulled it back for that embarrassing own goal. That was a joke, weren't it, Flicks? That was embarrassing, but fair play to Emerson for continuing his run. Yeah,
it was very comical.
But what did you think to Emerson's performance, mate? Are you a fan of his, or are you one of these?
He blows hot and cold, doesn't he?
Mm.
But no, I thought Saturday he was decent. It just needs to up his crosses a little bit more.
I mean, I don't know about you, but that run he made for the third goal, I don't think Doherty does that. I know a lot of people prefer Doherty, but I don't think Doherty does what he did in that.
No.
With that. So, fair play to him there, because he's drove and he's carried on his run. I mean, he swung it into the box, hoping someone's in there, which is what you got to do in there. Thankfully for him, the defenders made a right balls up of it, and he put it in his own net. So then, move on now. Fourth goal, man of the match, Kulusevski. That was an Emerson assist as well. James Kulusevski, he's fucking brilliant, isn't he?
Oh, undoubtedly, he's so young. He's been in the country 8 months since January, and he's played not that many. Has he even played 20 games for us yet?
I haven't got it in front of me. You're the stat man.
No, I wouldn't say that. No.
Like that, right? No. Not a lot of games, and he just adapted instantly as soon as he arrived. He plays with the confidence and intelligence of a 35-year-old who's played in the league for yonks, right? And he's still so young. Brilliant player. His goal was incredibly well taken, I think. Great finish. He very much is that third attacking player we've been missing with Son and Kane. And he's just brilliant. I think genuinely in 2 or 3 years' time, he could sincerely develop into the next, Son, Hazard, Salah level player in the Premier League, right? That very high level elite player that you think, crikey, this guy, he could challenge for the Ballon d'Or in 5 years' time. I'm not being facetious. He genuinely could. Brilliant.
I think you're right, mate. I think he's a special player, even at his age, and I think his position could move. He could quite easily go and play in the middle. Owen, what do you reckon to him?
Amazing. He is absolutely brilliant. So well-rounded. Every time he plays, I know he hasn't played for us long, but he's never had a bad game for us. Every time he comes on, if he has had an average performance, Conte drops him, puts more on, he'll come off the bench and he'll do something ridiculous. Every single time. And then he just proves it that he is at that level. I think over the past however many months, he's almost outperformed Kane and Son. So you've got to hold him in his own regard as one of these really high-level players, especially at his age as well. And, being in England for barely a year is ridiculous.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player. I'm going to come on to you, Flicks. What do you think? Because what you got to remember is, can you remember when he sort of came off the bench on his first ever appearance, and some of the Muppets on Twitter were saying he looks like a cart horse? What do you reckon to him now? Quite a turnaround, isn't it? Incredible.
You would have thought he would have been with us for a couple of seasons. Honestly, I don't know why Juve let him go. Just a fantastic player, and on Saturday once again he proved it. Class.
What do you reckon his ceiling is? Like, obviously, James said he could be up for the Ballon d'Or. Do you think he could hit those levels?
Don't see why not. Kane's been up there, should have got it. Sonny's up there. Sonny's very underrated. So Kulusevski, yeah, definitely up there for me.
Whilst we've got a player like him, we've got a chance, haven't we? Those three up front are like, obviously Dave, he did have a great game at the weekend, but what it was about me watching it wasn't about just the goal. It's when you see like the touches he has. There was one point where the ball dropped out the air and he sort of spun the defender, but he's not blessed with blistering pace, but his touch and his technique, like he laid that one ball through to Sessegnon. Kyle Walker-Peters came in and made that tackle, but you just look at that and you think that is a quality footballer. You can just tell straight away. Can't just by the way he carries himself, everything he does, he is top notch.
Class.
So obviously that's it. 4-1, game over. I mean, I've been to the lane. I've been going to watch Spurs for a long time, and I've seen some really dog shit Tottenham teams. But I felt at times watching that, it just felt like a bit of a friendly. It felt like they were just not in the game at all. I've never really weird to be in there thinking, God, this is like easy, and it was easy, wasn't it? They were,
just folded.
They just folded like a. So Owen, we got to see Perisic come on. We were all looking forward to that. What do you think to his performance?
It was good. I mean, obviously Cess had an amazing game as well, but Perisic has that level of almost reassurance where there's going to be a level of consistency and quality every time he's on that position, and he showed it. He put in a couple crosses. He just very well rounded. Looks like the bit of experience we need in that area.
Yeah. Flicks, he can go right foot, left foot, can't he? He seems, he hasn't even really hit the ground running yet, but you can see that there's a decent play. Like I said, it is hard to really judge after a while, because I thought Southampton, I can remember saying on the group, I think it was 1-1 or may have been 2-1, and I put Southampton are here for the taking. If we raise our game, we'll take them apart. But Perisic looked tidy when he came on, didn't he?
Yeah, very tidy. Top class player. Hitting on a free, it couldn't go wrong. Only 33. A lot of people are saying he's old now, but the guy's still got it.
He's not old, mate. 33. 33 is no age.
No, he's not old. He's class.
Yeah. Hang on. As football gets more involved with sports science, we're seeing players play for a lot longer. And Perisic obviously isn't, he's quick. He was one of the quickest players in Serie A last year. He's a big guy and he's an intelligent player. Even if he does slow down, that's not the biggest detriment to his game. I can think of, Philip Lahm was never that quick, right? And he was still one of the best right backs in the world. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is 40 and still scoring a lot of goals in Serie A. Players can go on for a lot longer than they used to be able to.
Oh, 100%, mate.
Part of the reason why I think Harry Kane got to his late 30s. But Perisic has got a few good years left in him if we, play him the right amount and he has the right access to training, etc. So he can still be around.
They are fit though, aren't they, mate? They are fit. You look at them now; they're off. I think you're right, mate. The top ones can go on. So also, Basuma came on, got booked after 2 minutes. What do you reckon of that, James?
I said to Owen, he looked very eager to get on the pitch and just flies into a tackle straight away. Look, I love the enthusiasm, right? And it's certainly a nice change from watching players like Tonki and Dombele who stroll around.
No, don't get into it, mate. Don't do it to yourself.
I'm making a contrast to his point. He's very eager to be here. I don't think he was brilliant, but we'd already won the game when he came on, right? And he's more of a destroyer, fighty player, if that makes sense. And he showed a bit of that grit, which is good, and that's the kind of grit we're going to need playing teams like Chelsea and in the Champions League. So I think we've seen a bit of what he's about. Hopefully we can see the more technical side of him.
Yeah. Flicks, you got to be excited for Basuma, haven't you? I know he didn't get much of a game on and the game was dead when he come on, but you got to be looking forward to him, haven't you? Starting to play some games.
Definitely. Another top player. He should have scored Saturday when he came on. But no,
it was a good strike.
Yeah, good strike. Decent strike. Brighton, they've lost a very talented player there, so I'm happy we got the guy.
It's good though for you look at it like we were obviously winning. And you can afford to bring subs on. Who do we bring on? Perisic, Basuma, Langley, Doherty came on, didn't he? Yeah, he did come on, didn't he?
Yes, he did. Yes.
And Lucas came on. 5 subs. Bench is already looking stronger. Richarlison wasn't even on the bench, and we're looking at adding players. So it's already looking quite positive, isn't it? So 4-1, top the league, mate. Don't get no better than that, does it, Owen?
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's about the most ideal performance you could ask for. It, the players, obviously, with the lineup being similar to or the same as how it was last season, every player on the pitch had to prove, that's their place. With everyone coming in, there's going to be a lot of competition, especially, we can't seem to move on quite a few players. So there's going to be a ton of competition, loads of rotation. So it was kind of interesting to see the dynamic of how the game changed as they came on.
Yeah.
As individuals, they all add something very different to what we had previously. I mean, Longley, I'm a massive fan of Longley. I think he was our best player against Roma, and then he looks all right when he came in against Southampton. I think in the next, 4 or 5 games, he should really be knocking on the door to start.
Well, mate, he's gonna have games, isn't he? I thought Davis played well again. You look at it now, you know what you're getting off Davis week in, week out. Flicks, top the league, probably won't move from there now, will we, till the end of the season?
Let's hope not. But I said to myself before the start of the season, I said, if anything, this is the season now to challenge for the title. Silverware is going to be, 15 years this year since we've got a bit of silverware. So if anything, this is our year, this is our chance.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, James, overall view of the game then. Southampton game, give us your final thoughts on it.
We're winning the league. We were brilliant. They weren't dreadful, I don't think. I think the worst thing they did was score because it angered us. Yeah, we were brilliant. No negatives to take away from it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a long season for Southampton, but you can't ask for any more than that. 4 goals at home, going 1-0 down and having a response to it. Bringing subs on, mate, when you can, and giving players minutes and also resting your own players. So, all in all, good day. Right, and so next, we're going to go on to everybody's favourites, transfer business. Looks like Spurs are very, very close to signing Destiny Adigi. And left back from Serie A. I don't know much about him. We've obviously got some stats. But, right, if we go with James first, you look at stats and stuff. What can you tell us about Destiny?
So, just to compare him to Sergio Reguilon, for no particular reason, and we also have to keep in mind this is Serie A, it's a bit of a slower league, and he's also a young lad. One of the things he does quite well is his dribbles completed, 1.2 a game. Reguilon, doesn't matter, completes less than 1 a game. Just under 5 progressive carries for him. So he's very much a fullback who wants to get the ball and go forward. His passing isn't brilliant. He attempts about 30 passes a game. But again, that could just be due to the team he's playing in. His pass completion's all right, about 80%. You look at his defensive workload, 2 blocks. Reggie doesn't even complete. He completes 1.5. 2.7 tackles a game. Reguilon's 2.2. 16 pressures a game compared to Reggie's 14. So he seems all right defensively, and he seems very much like a fullback who wants to get the ball and go forward, which is the kind of player Conte is looking for and that you need in a fullback. It does seem like quite a Paratici signing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But he's 19 and he's got some decent numbers. He's going back out there on loan, and hopefully he can develop. So
apparently he was the second highest. He was the second in Serie A stats for goals and assists last season from left wing back. So, left back, left wing back. So, I mean, Owen, have you seen anything of him? Do you have him in your football manager team or anything?
No, I've done I didn't know much about him. I knew he was a prospect. I knew he was very, very highly rated in Italy. He was getting links with, I think, Inter Milan, Juventus, all the big Italian clubs a while ago. So I did a little bit of research. And then obviously when the links with us really started fluctuating, I went straight online, started looking him up, and he looks, well, perfect. In the sense of the signing, I can say it's a little bit of a gamble for the money, for his age. You know, he's had a good season, a really, really good season for, you know, where he's proved how talented he is. But for him coming back next year, it'll be good for him to compete with, you know, Perisic or Sess, you know, whoever is around at the time. But he is one that's going to take a few years to develop.
Yeah. So Flicks, I've done my scouting on YouTube, and he looks fast. He looks physical. Have you seen anything of him?
Not a huge deal. I've seen little clips of, you know, he's got pace, and like you say, he's got one of the highest stats in the league. But other than that, I don't really know a lot about the guy, to be honest.
Yeah, it's sort of quite hard to get excited about it or really get into it, isn't it? Because we don't. All we sort of really know is it's one that Paratici and Conte have. Well, they say Conte, but you know, it's one we've sort of pushed for. He's going to go back on loan. So you know, it is what it is, isn't it? We're looking at the future. Like I said about Sessegnon earlier, you look at Edozie, you look at Sessegnon still, you look at Matey Boy, Spence out wide, and they're all they're in that wing back mould, aren't they? They're all sort of players who look like they prefer to be at that end of the pitch rather than down this end. So and obviously as well, we've still got the links to Zaniolo going on. However, I think today they've sort of said Mourinho's blocked it for some reason. He wants to keep him. So, Flicks, what do you think to the Zaniolo links? What are your thoughts on him?
I don't know. Good player, yes, but are we going to get him? I can't see it, to be honest. If anything, day maybe, but
it's one of those, isn't it, where we're looking at him, and 1 minute it's like, well, this is going to get done by the weekend, and then literally half hour later, you get someone else come out saying, "Oh no, that's it now." They put in a low ball offer, and Jose's put his foot down. He doesn't want him to go. Yeah. It's like James, you're a fan of Zaniolo, aren't you? Do you think it's just going to keep rumbling on till the end of the transfer window, or do you think that's it now?
I think if Mourinho's blocked the transfer, it's not going to happen, right? Paratici isn't going to be stubborn in pursuit of one target. He will move on, you know, the whole scattergun approach, you know. So I think very much if Roma's manager Mourinho has indicated, don't want to say it like that, I think if they've indicated they don't want to sell him and would only accept a ridiculous fee, then I think it's probably over. I think he's a good player, but if he unless he personally kicks up a massive fuss, like stops going to training, blah 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 blah, it's not going to happen.
And I don't think that's going to happen. No. So do you think what they were saying, Owen, that I've read today that, like, obviously they did want Zaniolo, but Conte is quite happy with his squad at the minute. Do you think they'll look for that sort of another attack-minded player, or do you think if it happens, it happens? If it doesn't, then they'll just ride with what they've got?
Yeah, they seem like they have some kind of plan for going in for either an attack-minded number 8 or a number 10, just because, you know, we are still going to struggle against teams with low blocks, and you know, we have for years. We never recovered from losing Eriksen or when Eriksen dropped form. So I really, really hope we sign either an attack-minded number 8 or a number 10. However, do I feel like it's going to happen? Unless something, you know, some offer that's good comes out in the market and it seems sensible, I don't think they're going to go out chasing.
No. Here's one for you then, Flick. Zaniolo doesn't come off. What happens with Bryan Hill? Do we keep him? Do you think he's a guy who could fulfil that role, or do you think no? Look, let's get someone in. Let's get him out on loan so we can get some minutes and play more football.
It's a bit of a difficult one. Yeah, he's a good player. But is Conte going to give him that chance? I don't know. We do need to offload a lot of players, as you know. But Brian Gill, I'm very half and half of him, to be honest.
I think he looks the part. I thought in the friendlies I've seen him, he's obviously got a good engine on him, and he gets around the pitch. But I'm sort of like, I think even if we got someone in on loan, I think I'd let Hill go and play some football in the Premiership. If you can get him, I mean, did you watch Brighton at the weekend? If we could sort of get Hill going somewhere like that, that'd be a good move for him, wouldn't it, James? Rather than hanging around waiting for game time at Spurs.
Yeah, he very much needs a loan, I think, probably, unless there's going to be significant numbers for him. I think if we were in the Europa League as opposed to the Champions League, you could look at that and go, well, you know, he could play the European matches plus the cup matches. That's probably, 15 games combined, maybe some sub-appearances in the Prem. You look at that and think, okay, he's probably going to have enough game time here. But we're in the Champions League, so I can't see him getting that much game time, especially with Richarlison coming in. And, yeah, I think Brighton would be a good option for him. The one thing I will say about Brighton, particularly against United, and what you can see tactically, is they're very, very, very well drilled. And that sort of understanding of the game and hard training is very similar to Conte. And, you know, Gill would learn a lot from Potter. They've got a lot of money, though, Brighton. So I don't know if they're going to bring someone in, because, you know, Cucurella just went for 60 million. Sold Basuma to us for 25 or so. So, but, you know, maybe Gill going to them on loan. Looks like, you know, gives them something for a season. They can get by. They haven't got brilliant strikers. I mean, they're playing Danny Welbeck up front. He could play out wide. They play a variety of systems, so I think he'd be kind of shifted around a bit wherever. That's the only negative of that loan, I would suggest. He wouldn't have a consistent position, but I think it would be a decent option for him. Plus, I'd probably be able to go see him play.
Yeah, but maybe not even Brighton. I just think if he needs some game time and he needs to be playing in this country, he does need to get used to that physicality. What do you reckon, Owen? Brian Hill, are you having him or not?
I would.
You don't have to say nice things, mate. If you think he's shit, you say.
No, I think he's promising. At the moment, he doesn't look like, you know, the amount of money we paid for him looks a little bit silly at the moment. However, he's obviously got bags potential, but right now, if the squad is exactly like it is, I think we kind of need a player like him just to bring on or play in the cups. And you never know, this season he could become a relatively good Prem level player. The one thing I'd change is if a club like Brighton or Forest or something came in with a loan offer. If he has a loan in the Prem, I think he'll really develop and he could use it. But there's no point in sending him to Spain or, you know, he's been there, done that. He's proved he can do it in Spain, albeit last season at Valencia he struggled a little bit. But I think he could really, really use a Prem loan or some minutes with us.
I think he's definitely got to play in this country. But I mean, like you said something there, like you've just said that he could become a decent Prem player. I don't think at this minute Conte probably wants players who could be decent Prem. Yeah. That's why Spence will have to work his way into the team. I think we want players who are good Premier League players, don't we? And that's where Hill needs to maybe go out and get that loan. It doesn't have to be Brighton. I've just plucked Brighton out the air because I think Potter's a decent manager. And I think when you look at the likes of Trossard and those players who play out wide, he could quite easily do the same thing. But yeah, I think a loan move is what he needs to be getting. So we'll move on from him. Oh, go on.
I was just saying, I think in the first place, it was bad business with Hill. It sent really, really random. So it was good. His stats were never amazing. He never did too much. It was appealing to watch. He was a player who gets you out your seat. I like watching him when he does play. but stats are never amazing, and he was never just going to come in and kind of make that spot his. Obviously, no matter where in that kind of front position he goes, he's never just going to slot in. He was always going to be a rotation option, and for 25 mil at the time where he wasn't polished, he just been on loan to Eibar or something, and he had a decent season. Then throwing one of our best rotation players and 25 mil on his head wasn't smart.
Well, talking about other midfielders who were flattered to deceive, Flicks, Lo Celso, I think that's coming to a close now. What do you reckon to that?
Lo Celso, he's going back to Villarreal. Is that true?
I think that's where it looks like it's heading.
Yeah, hopefully. So that's one player out of the way. Obviously, there's Tongi and Dembele as well that needs to be shipped out. Harry Winks, he's born and bred in Tottenham, but for me, at the level we need to be at, he's just not cutting it.
No,
it's a shame, but he's another player that needs to be shipped off, unfortunately. There's another young guy I was just thinking of while you talked about Brian Gill. Again, he was put out on loan. Is it Pepe Sarr or something like that?
Yeah, Pape Mate. So he's the squad at the minute. He's not on loan, is he? But we spoke about him the other week, mate, and he's like, if he can get some game time, he obviously was out. He's a young lad. He was out in France last season, but are we going to keep him around and give him some game time, or do you think we ship him out to get some game time as well if we bring somebody else in?
Yeah, it's a bit difficult. I've not really seen the guy play other than in friendlies. So maybe I'll keep him. Maybe a bit like Brian Gill, maybe putting that on loan, even better in a Premier League team, so he can adapt to the Premier League. So again, very 50-50 like Brian Gill, to be honest.
James, what do you reckon, Lo Celso? It's coming to an end, isn't it? Let's just hopefully get it done now. Let's move on.
Yeah, he just needs to go somewhere. He very much doesn't suit the Premier League. I don't think he suits Antonio Conte. It's a bit of a shame because I think his numbers were pretty good in Spain. I don't think he's a bad player innately, right? He just very much doesn't suit what we're trying to do at the moment. He doesn't suit the Premier League. I don't like saying that because I think it's a bit of a myth, really, a player not suiting a league. But, he seems like the kind of player that you very much need a free-man midfield for, you need a bit of protection for, needs to be quite specific almost. Obviously, it doesn't suit us. If we can get a decent fee for him, then we just got to move on with it. For Lo Celso, I don't have any real disliking for him because I think it just kind of didn't work out, which happens in football. I don't think he's a bad player. I don't think he's a lazy player or anything, but it's just unfortunate, really.
Yeah, it just hasn't worked out for Lo Celso, is it? I mean, like I know James is saying about players not suiting the league, but he never ever really settled in. Injuries, loss of form, not being played. It's just not worked out for him, has it?
Yeah, I mean, he had 4 or 5 months under Jose in 1920 where he was actually, I bought his shirt last year because he was my favourite player and I thought he was our best performer in the second half of that season. But from the second I bought that shirt, he just went absolutely off it.
Your fault,
never, ever. Yeah, it's my fault.
But yeah. So he's going to move on. I think Villarreal is where he's going to. Other players we're looking at possibly going out. Tanganga. James, yes or no?
On a loan, yes. Don't sell him, though. On a loan.
Hang on, mate. Right. Somebody on here is either like blowing in their microphone or something, and I can hear it in my ears. Who's that? Is it your fan? Well done, mate. It was doing my head in that
you've got to suffer in the heat. You're not allowed to have a fan on.
Yeah, you got to sweat your tits off like the rest of
earlier.
I left it. I didn't want to. I didn't want to embarrass anyone, but mate, I just had enough, so I had to say sorry about that. Flicks, Tanganga, what do you think?
Like James said, definitely online. I wouldn't sell. Again, Tottenham born and bred. Good defender, yes. But I'd stick him out online, definitely.
Yeah.
I've heard AC Milan. I wanted him, but is that going to fall through?
well, if I've also heard Roma, either of those would be a brilliant move for him. Go into one of those clubs, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Owen, Tanganga, I'm not his biggest fan. A lot of injuries. Doesn't seem confident enough for me to make it at sort of the top level, even though he is relatively young. What do you think?
Nifty player. He's all right. He had those good performances against Liverpool and City. I think he's very situational almost. He's someone that I like having around, if you're in a back four. Like, the only good performances he's had is when he's playing right back in a back four against a really tricky player that usually our defenders struggle with. But I feel like that's where he thrives, and he likes the pressure. I remember last year, first game of the season, he got man of the match against City. And before that, when his debut against Liverpool, he was great. But usually, in this back three system, he's absolutely horrible.
Yeah. When I watched him against Jack Grealish, and I think he was sort of marking Sterling as well, he likes to get right up someone's ass, and he likes to be like physical. He likes them to be close, and he likes to hit people. He looked $1 million then, but he just sort of went downhill after that. So, any more players we can see moving on, James? Loan or even sell?
Well, sell or loan, usual suspects, right? Players we want going out. I've seen bits and pieces about Rodon, nothing particularly concrete, but I imagine we'll be trying to shift him. There's a lot of players we're trying to shift. The only thing is we haven't managed to get all the outgoings we'd like to have gotten this window. I don't know where Harry Winks is going to end up. Don't know where Tongi and Ndombele is going to end up. Those are the main two. Maybe Reggie as well. Conte doesn't seem to rate him if he's starting Sessegnon. He's playing Perisic. Yeah. Davies can play there as well. We have cover for Davies now, so maybe Reggie as well. But we're not going to want to take a big
I think we just keep going over old ground with Winks, don't we? So I don't really want to go down there. Like we say, he's a Tottenham lad, and Ndombele, we've got to move on, haven't we? Flicks, we've got to move him on.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever the last game Tongi actually played, was it the FA Cup tie?
Don't Flicks.
You'll
start James off.
You know what I mean? Like,
right. Fucking hell. I was at that bloody game.
Nah, mess with that. I don't play that in the team. Nah.
It was my birthday.
Here we go.
I was at the game. Me and my dad had gone to the game on my birthday. I woke up early, and I don't like waking up early, right? I do not enjoy waking up early. And I could just sit in the car, go to the game. And actually, Steve sorted us out with nice tickets. So cheers, Steve. Appreciate that. Legend, Steve. And I'm watching this game against Morecambe. I couldn't pronounce Morecambe before the game. I thought it was Macrombie. So there you go. Morecambe. And he can do it against bloody Morecambe, and then he strops off. So bottom line, shit player. Fuck off.
Right then. That'll do for that then. Loan watch. Parrott. Yeah. Troy Parrott bagged last night, Owen. Good player, Troy Parrott. Do you think he can stay out on loan? Do you think he'd come back in and stake a claim for a place? Or do you think just get a good loan move and maybe get a good move? What are your thoughts on him?
They obviously see promise because he signed that contract, didn't he? So they know, and I think everyone that his stats aren't particularly great in, he played League One, Championship now, obviously. His stats around the board aren't great, but he definitely scores goals. So I think maybe, depending on the squad at the start of next season, he could, if he has a good preseason, get a few games. I think he did not get enough time this preseason to really show his ability. He looks all right when he came on, but I think he'll stick around for a few more years, and I think he could be a decent little player.
Flicks, what do you think to Troy Parrott, mate? Obviously off the mark last night, needed a goal, needs a good loan move. What do you think to him?
Yeah, no, good player. You've only got to look at the likes of Kane, the amount of teams he was loaned out on, and then eventually had that chance at Tottenham. Now look at him, one of the best players in the world. So for me, I think Parrott has got it in him. Maybe next season let's see him try and stake a claim in that squad, definitely.
Yeah. Preston, good move from James. Bagged yesterday. Came off after 60 minutes. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it's a good move for him, undoubtedly. But, particularly when you look at where he was last season on loan at MK Dons, League One, Championship now. It's very much step up, tougher league. Scoring, brilliant for him. He just needs, the thing is, he doesn't need to go away and score 25 goals, 30 goals, have an outrageous campaign or anything. Because Kane didn't do that when he went on loan to Leicester and Norwich, right?
Yeah.
He just needs to get that experience, get that bit of confidence, get the minutes in his legs, as it were, so that when he does come back and he has the opportunity, he's got that experience behind him. So if he's scoring goals, getting minutes, that's just what we're after for him.
Yeah. Scarlett as well, Owen. 60 minutes again. Didn't score for Portsmouth, but I mean he's very young, isn't he? It's good time for him. We expect so much from him and Parrott. They had so much weight on their shoulders. Dane Scarlett, what do you think to him? What you've seen of him, Owen?
Obviously, with under 23s, under 19s, he looks brilliant. And then he did it again for England's under 19s. He just looks really class. I think this is the year he really has to prove he can do it at a professional level instead of, with all the youngsters. And now he's going into a pretty tough league, into a Scarlett. James. Oh, that's worrying. Obviously he's going into a tough league. He's going to struggle, I think, but he'll bag a few goals and, you'll get a glimpse of the kind of player he could become.
Yeah. What do you think, Flicks? Dane Scarlett?
Yeah, definitely. Same as Troy Parrott, to be honest. Probably good team. Let's hope he can do something decent with him and again, break into that Tottenham side. Definitely. He's got the talent there. 100%. It's like you've all said, and James said, it's all right sending these players out on loan. Sometimes these players go out on loan like Defoe did a long time ago, bags a load of goals, comes in full of confidence, does it at that level. But Kane didn't do that, did he? It's just about learning your craft, learning what you're doing. So hopefully those two, I think you're more than likely to see, if Scarlett comes back, he'll probably go out on loan again next season. Maybe Parrott comes in, tries to, get a squad place, and maybe he has to go out on loan again. There's no massive rush for him at the minute, is there? We've got Kane, Son, Kulu in those roles. Lucas will probably have another year. So, it is what it is, mate. We'll see where it goes. Another one of our loanees, Big Joe Rodon, went out to Rennes, wasn't it? Went to Rennes. I think he played in a 0-0 draw at the weekend. Owen, what are your thoughts on Joe Rodon, mate? He never really had a massive chance at Spurs, did he?
No, I think he should have, in the games he did play, he had a run of about 5 games under Jose where I thought he did look like he could kind of hold the place down. But he made a dumb mistake against Liverpool, cost us a goal. I think not just Jose, but I think the fans turned on him for a bit, that he just looked out of place off that and never really got it under Conte. And I think Rennes is a really, really good move for him.
Yeah, I think it's a decent move. Flicks, what do you think? Because I know it's sort of probably a little bit of old-fashioned thinking, but I'm 4 managers haven't fancied him. I think there's an half-decent player in there, but 4 managers haven't fancied him. So alarm bells start ringing. It's a bit of a red flag. What do you think?
Yeah. I was happy when we actually got him from Swansea. Because obviously the Swansea support kicked off about that. But he's not really had a great chance, has he? But maybe going to Rennes on loan. You never know. Be one of them ones where Tottenham actually want him back. But yeah, I'd rather see him out on loan, to be honest.
Yeah. James, we spoke about it before, but Rodon obviously wants to go out, play some games, needs to play in those group games for Wales, doesn't he, before he comes back home from the World Cup? What do you think? Decent move for him?
Are you saying Wales are going to get knocked out in the group stages and not win the World Cup? I'm offended. Yeah,
Probably.
To be honest, it slipped my mind a little bit. They've gone to Rennes. I definitely read it, but it slipped my mind a little bit. He's a good player, right? I don't know how much he suits Spurs. He very much strikes me as more of a reactive defender than a, more passing Conte style defender. I think he's decent overall. He's young and he hasn't had a lot of game time. It's difficult to say. I think he very much, when he came in, he wasn't the player Mourinho wanted. It's tricky for a player like that. Never had that many chances at Spurs. Maybe didn't have the best games, but I remember him getting thrown in to difficult fixtures with no minutes in his legs. And no player's going to do that well in those games, especially when they're young. I hope he can get some football out there. Funnily enough, in Football Manager, when I was managing Marseille and I went undefeated in France, I signed Joe Rodon and he was half my defence and he played every league game. So maybe France is the destination for him. And I hope he has a good season and maybe he can come back to Spurs and do all right. But I believe there's an option to buy in that loan. So worst case, we make some money on him. Not the end of the world. He didn't cost that much. So good deal all around, I think.
Yeah, right then. Sunday, 4:30, Stamford Bridge, Spurs Chelsea. We're currently top of the league. Flicks, do you think we will still be top of the league at the end of that game?
I bloody hope so. Like I said before the stream, this is our chance to actually do something at Stamford Bridge. Again, like you said before the stream, we haven't had a great time at Stamford Bridge in recent years, but if anything, this is our chance, to start the season. Let's go there, all guns blazing, bag the 3 points and stay top of the league.
Yeah, well, James, what do you think then? So we're going into that game top of the league. Don't want to keep saying it, but we're going into that game top of the league against a team that usually do us, don't they? More often than not, we get a negative result against them. What Conte does he stick with the same 11 that started against Southampton? Does he tweak it? What happens?
I think he more than likely will. To be honest, the only change I can see is maybe Perisic playing, but I think it will be overwhelmingly the same setup because when you look at the other options, Basuma didn't have that many minutes and he didn't do anything ecstatic, right? And he's not, and Perisic is a player Conte knows and trusts, right? So that's a little bit different. I think you want Emerson in a game like that, going up against Chilwell or Cucurella. I think it'll probably be Chilwell.
Yeah.
Backline. Longley's a great player, but he knows Davies. Davies is a fighter. He's a battling player you need in a game like that. I mean, Kane, Son, Kulusevski is going to say so. So I think it's basically going to be the same lineup. It's going to be a tricky game, but this is very much Conte's, more so his team now. And this is his chance to have a colossal fuck you to Chelsea. And he's going to be up for that. As will the guys.
I mean, what I want to see is us go there, play some football, and take it to them and try and win the game. I don't want to see us. What we usually do is go there with sort of a game plan, shit the bed after about 5 minutes, and then they just sit back. We can't break, and then they'll hit us with a wonder goal and then bag one near. It's time to go there now. We're going to do anything. We've got to go there with a far stronger mentality, haven't we, Owen? We've got to go there like we mean it.
Yeah, big time. I think now more than ever, we actually, have the better squads and we are performing better in almost every way. It's just that mentality block. I think Conte really needs to drill into the players that they can win at the Bridge because it is not something we do much.
No, because we were awful there last year, weren't we? We were awful when we had those 3 games in January where you thought we may as well just give them the games and we'd have got more from training sessions than playing them, wouldn't we? We were fucking awful. But what do you think? So, Flicks, what do you think he'll start with the same team? Do you think he'll bring Perisic in, or do you think Sessegnon will keep
again, like James said, I think he'll tweak it a little bit. Maybe bring Perisic in. Obviously, we knew next time at Inter Milan, quality players we all know. Other than that, I'll just keep it the same. To be honest.
Yeah, James. Yeah, James.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you for a score prediction for the Chelsea game. What are you going for?
This is a difficult one to call. I think we'll concede 2-1 Spurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, Owen. So we're playing against Chelsea. They've sold they've loaned Lukaku, and have they sold Werner, or has he gone on loan? So we're effectively playing a team. Who are they going to play up front, Owen?
Havertz, I'd imagine Havertz, but I think they could switch to a false nine kind of formation, and they could play a multitude of players there. It'll be interesting to see how they line up. I think it'll be a very interesting game in general. But yeah, obviously they've got a massive crisis at the moment. I don't know how they're going to manage with absolutely no striker, because Havertz has proved, in my eyes, that he can't perform at that position and at the level of the Premier League, I think. So I think we are at an advantage because of how much squad depth we have. They're going to really struggle.
Yeah. Flicks, did you watch them against Everton at the weekend? I was on the way back from the game. You were probably the same, weren't you?
Yeah, I see clips of it on Match of the Day other than that, but yeah.
Right, so what's your score prediction then?
Predictions. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs, maybe 2-0. You know, like you say, no striker. They've sold Werner. Lukaku's out on loan. So other than that, they're going to do a false nine. Maybe Havertz up front, who isn't a great up top. Now they've got Sterling now, but if anything, this is our chance. I'm going to go with maybe definitely a 2-1, possibly a 2-0. We'll see.
Owen, out the panel, out the guests. Obviously, I'm the host. What are you going for? You going for a full house?
Yeah, but I think there'll be more goals. I think it'll be 3-2 Spurs.
Do you? Any advance on the goal scorers?
I think if it depends who we play, obviously, but they're not going to have a striker, so I think we have the potential to defend really well. Obviously, you know, players like Sterling's just want to cause havoc and create chaos among our back five, so it'll be tough. And you know, you do have really dangerous players, and there's players like Kante and Alonso who always perform against us.
Yeah,
but I think now we are best suited to give them a real game.
So I'm a man in my mid-40s. So I've seen Tottenham Chelsea games for a long time. And no matter how much I want to, I can't see us beating them. So I'm going to go as positive as I can be, and I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw. And I'll be happy with that. So unfortunately, I can't go for a full house. But surely, lads, we'll take a draw, won't we, at the Bridge? Obviously, we want to win every game, but the way things go, a draw will be all right, won't it?
I'll take a draw. I'll take a draw. But really and truly, we need the points. We need the 3 points. Stake a claim. This is our time to shine.
Mate, I'm with you. There's nothing more I'd love to see than Spurs turn up there and really play on the front foot, boss the game, not make any stupid mistakes. It's just like time has beaten me down, mate, and I just can't see. I just can't see it.
It might be one of them ones where Richarlison comes on last 10 minutes, you know, bangs in the winner and brings up the old flair, and then he gets a 3-match ban again. So,
I mean, how good would that be? How good would that be? But it's like you saying about Richarlison coming on. We're going. We said about Chelsea with James. We're going there in good shape, aren't we? You know, you've got Richarlison coming back in that squad. He wasn't in there at the weekend. We're going there. We're going there full of purpose, full of sort of like all the fan. You know, a lot of fans are sort of like, usually we're all like, oh, fucking Chelsea, but a lot of fans are positive about it, aren't they?
I think the thing to note about this Chelsea side, especially when they lined up against Everton and they just sold Werner, but he wasn't even on the bench then. Their front line was Mount, Sterling, and Havertz. None of those guys are strikers. None of them are particularly central players. I mean, they can kind of play there, Havertz and Sterling. It seems very much like they're going to end up effectively with a false nine. They played a 3-4-3, same formation as us, as we always do. And The notable thing is when you don't have a striker, when you're playing with a false nine, what it means is your centre backs can push forward because there's no threat in the centre. Like your wide centre backs can deal with the guys out wide, and your central centre back can kind of just stand there and screen, almost like a libero.
Yeah,
that's an old word. That's an old Italian concept. So what ends up happening is your fullbacks, wingbacks can push up really, really high and keep the Chelsea ones pushed back. They can't do that because it's Harry Kane. And if you let Harry Kane drop in, if you don't follow him, well, he's going to pick up the ball and play beautiful passes to Son and Kulusevski. So I very much feel like we're going to be able to push our wingbacks very high.
Yeah.
And their centre-backs are going to be torn all around because they're going to have to stay with Kane and follow him in, which creates space for Son and Kulusevski. Or they're going to have to... He's going to be able to keep them back as such, which creates space because they've only got two people in midfield. Conte hasn't been brilliant. Jorginho's not really a runner. I think Bentancur and Højbjerg are both battlers. I'm confident. Their defense, it's not bad, but you've got players that I don't think defensively are as good as ours. I think they're not maybe up for the game as much as we are. Aspilicueta's probably going to play, and he doesn't really want to be there. He wants to be at Barcelona. We've got Romero, who's probably eyeing up a juicy slide tackle or two. I just think strategically, we're going to have opportunities to cross the ball a lot. And if we do that, we will score. And also, they don't really have a goal for it. In some ways or another, it's kind of like the Man U Brighton game, except we're not the massive, massive underdogs because we have really good quality. I think we might see a similar outcome to that.
So, Flicks, you've gone for the Spurs win. How do you see us beating them? Where do you think that game will be won and lost?
It's going to be one, I would say, of our front three. Obviously, the defence is wide. Romero there, solid as a brick, along with Dyer, of course. But if anything, it'd be one up top.
Yeah.
Kane, Kulusevski, Richarlison there as well.
Yeah.
Definitely up top.
Goal scoring wise, we've got the threat, haven't we? And we've got the options off the bench now. So yeah, Owen, do you agree with that, mate? Do you think that's where we win it, middle of the park, or can you see them troubling our defence?
I think most of the goals will come out of the creativity of our front three. I think we might struggle a bit in midfield. Obviously, the formation we play and the kind of lack of creativity surrounding Bentancur and Højbjerg. Again, like I was saying earlier, we struggle against teams like this. So I think, players like Kulusevski and Son are probably going to feed Kane. He loves a goal against Chelsea. But I think, we're going to have a lot of threat coming from either Perisic or Cess. Again, both of them are great players at the moment. Cess improving every game. And then, I spoke about my feeling on Emerson's crossing. As much as defensively and because of how familiar he is with the system now, I think he is probably the answer for this game, Emerson. But his crossing is likely to frustrate people.
Well, my sort of hope for it is that we struggle to break down teams who sit back. And I know they haven't got Rudiger and they're not as strong as they were at the back. But if my fear is if we go 1-0 down, and they just sit back and try and hit us on the break, I think we've got to be the team that goes one up. I think that's how I just think if they go in front there. But like I said, I think it'll be a draw. I agree with you, lad. We've got the firepower to win that game for the first time. You sort of like nearly talked me round, but I'm going to stick with my 2-2 prediction. And hopefully we'll come away from the bridge with something. You going to say something, James?
Yeah, I have 2 points. I think our mentality is so much stronger now that if we go down early, we won't just roll down and have our bellies rubbed. I think we will fight back. I don't think it's as significant. I mean, they can sit back, right? But I don't think their defense is that good. In all honesty, I think they're better when they have the ball. Secondly, I think that it's going to be quite surprisingly open in some ways. I think the winning or losing very much depends on how quick Tuchel and Conte are to reply to tactical and strategic changes. Because I think Conte is going to go in with a very clear plan and we're going to have a bit of a front foot. I mean, Chelsea have a bit of it because they're ground, blah, blah, blah. But I think we're going to really get at them. And it's just about how quick Tuchel is to respond to that. And if he isn't able to respond to that, I think we could run away with it very easily.
Well, I think the guys are going to go into it in more depth on Friday. We've got a Chelsea fan coming on to preview the game with the panel. They seem like decent blokes, so hopefully it'll all be good, clean fun talking about it. So, hopefully, mate, we come away from the bridge unscathed, happy days. So, what we'll do is we'll go, I think, because we've got 2 new guest members on, James. We've done it before. We'll ask these 2 guys. We've been doing our predictions for the season. So, I'll come to you first, Owen. Top 6. Who's top 6 in what order for you, mate?
Oh, it's tough. Everyone looks so competitive this year, so it's hard to label it.
Yeah.
But if I was going to, I'd have to go United at 6th, Arsenal in 5th, Chelsea 4th, Liverpool 3rd, Spurs 2nd, City 1st.
I like that, Owen. I like that. Extremely positive. Flicks, go on then, mate. Your top 6.
Owen. I was going to say exactly the same thing. Apart from the last bit, I want us to win the league. I've actually put a little bet down that we're going to do something special this season. Tottenham to win the league.
Yeah.
City to come 2nd, Liverpool 3rd, like Owen says, in that order, apart from that last bit there. Definitely.
Who's finishing 4th? Yeah, mate, 4th, 5th and 6th. Who are you having there then?
4th, Chelsea, Arsenal 5th, United 6th if they're lucky.
Yeah.
I think they're absolutely shocking, to be honest. That's my predictions, definitely.
All right, and we're looking at Premier League top goal scorer. Owen.
I'm going to be really bold.
Yeah.
I'd just say Son. I was going to say Kulusevski.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it has to be Son, doesn't it?
Well, I think Son's got more chance than Kulusevski, even though he's a great player. What do you reckon, Flicks? Who are you going for Golden Boot winner?
I'd love to see Sonny win it again. You know, just again for the simple fact he's so underrated. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I'd give it to Sonny. But now we've got Haaland in the Prem, so you never know. But no,
exactly,
Sonny.
mate. You know, Haaland's a decent, well, say decent player. He's fucking quality player, isn't he?
Yeah.
Right then, FA Cup. Who are we going for FA Cup, Flicks?
Of course, us. It's got to be.
So we're on for the double, yeah?
Why not?
Yeah. Mate, fair play. That's what we want to hear. Owen, FA Cup.
I
yeah,
agree.
mate.
I think we're going to win it. I think we'll win it. Yeah.
So you're going for Spurs FA Cup, 2nd in the league, yeah?
Yeah, I think just because we have so much depth that it would be, well, if we don't get to the final with the amount of depth and the amount of money we have on our bench, it would be absolutely horrible. Yeah.
So that leaves domestically, we've got the League Cup. Flicks, come on, let's have your opinion on that then.
Oh, mate. Why not us again? I'm so desperate for silverware. To be honest,
so you're touting us for the treble then?
Why not?
So you've had money on us winning the league. Now you said that, mate. You've got to go and have a cheeky tenner on the treble. Because if they win it, mate, you'll be gutted that you went out. No, mate, fair play. Owen, what about you? Are you with Flicks, or do you think we won't take the League Cup as serious?
No, I don't think we'll take it serious. I think we'll actually just play youngsters, at least for the first however many rounds, and that always backfires on us for whatever reason. I think a team like Liverpool, Chelsea, City probably win it.
Well, these are the other top 4 clubs now take all these cup competitions serious, don't they? I mean, the top teams have won the League Cup. When was the last time a team outside of someone will probably say about 3 years ago now, but when was the last time a team outside of the sort of top 6 won the League Cup?
Swansea.
Yeah, and how long ago was that?
2011, 2012, 2013.
Yeah, it was quite a while ago, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the FA Cup? When was the last time?
Wigan.
He's going way back now.
Yeah.
Wigan,
So
yeah,
I
it's
remember
Wigan,
Wigan winning
They
it.
got relegated the same year, didn't they?
Yeah.
With
And were
Roberto
they
Martinez.
the last team to win it outside of the top six?
Yeah,
Outside,
I believe so.
the perceived top six.
Outside of the established big teams, definitely.
Yeah.
What it Portsmouth?
Portsmouth won it. Was that after? I think that was after, wasn't it?
Was it?
That
Let me
was
search
after
it up.
Wigan, wasn't it?
Oh,
I think you're right, mate.
No,
I think Portsmouth. I think Portsmouth did win it outside of the big six. Yeah, I think they were after Wigan as well.
should I
Wigan.
Google it?
Roughly about that same
You
time.
Google it, James. Well, I asked these boys. I'm going to ask Flicks, but I've got a feeling I know what he's got to say. Champions League, mate. What do you reckon?
Oh, mate. We should have
How
won it
far are
better.
we going to go, Flicks? I'll tell you what. How far are we going to go?
I'd like to see us at least make the quarters, semi-finals. I said that last time when we actually made the final. I'd be happy to make the quarters, but yeah, we got to the final and then it just kicked us up the arse then. But I'd love to see us make another final and actually claim that trophy. So I really felt we got mugged off against Liverpool that year.
Yeah.
So if anything, let's just go without guns blazing. We got the squad now. So if anything, this is our season to shine and prove so many people wrong.
Yeah. What do you reckon, Owen? How far can you see us going realistically in the Champions League? Because, Conte's not massively well known for, working 2 games in a week brilliantly and doing that well in the Champions League. So realistically, where do you think we could go?
Quarter-final, semi-final kind of thing. I don't think we're going to, have a great year. I don't think we're going to embarrass ourselves. I think we'll get an unfortunate draw against like Real Madrid or something, and we'll just get outclassed.
Well, I'll come on to that. Who we won in a minute. But so you're thinking quarterfinals, semi-finals, yeah? Yeah. James, realistically, then, mate, Champions League. Where do you think where could you see us getting to?
Sorry, just to answer the previous thing I Googled. Wigan won the FA Cup in 2012, 2013. Portsmouth won it in 2007, 2008.
Bloody hell.
Where can I see us getting? It's a cup competition, always a bit tricky. I think quarters to semis is a good performance for us. I mean, Conte hasn't done brilliantly in the Champions League, but he got to the final of the Europa League of Inter. So he's obviously not completely dreadful in Europe. Yeah. Maybe it's a question of depth. Don't know. But I think it all depends on who we get, how well we do in the groups, who we get in the groups. If we finish first our group and we get a favourable draw, then I can see a run to the semis, right? But I think the thing is, a team like City is going to be really, really, really desperate to win it this year.
Yeah.
So they might throw everything at it and say to hell with the league and the cups. Yeah. I can kind of see that as well for Liverpool with the domestic cups. It's a cup competition. We could sneak away to a final. We could go in the quarters. I don't think we'll go in the round of 16. I think we'll be good enough to get to the quarters and onwards. I'm very happy with anything above that. Cherry on the cake, right?
Fair play, mate. And we'll go to Owen because he's one who's... Who would you like us to draw in the group, Owen? Is there a team that you just love us to play and obviously you want us to beat them, but is there a team you think, I'd love to get them in the group? That'd be a great game.
I think one of the big Italian teams I'd like, like an Inter, Juventus, even AC Milan, that would just be a cracking game because the atmospheres in those Italian stadiums are mental.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind PSG, to be honest, just because of all the quality on the pitch. I think it would just be an entertaining game. We haven't played them in about 5 years, so I'd like to see it. As much as I don't think we'd win it. I think it would be entertaining.
Yeah. What about you, Flick? And people in the comments, I see a few people are doing it. Let us know who you'd like to see us play in the Champions League. Who do you reckon then, Flicks? Who would you like to see us play against, mate?
I'd like to see us play the likes of obviously Bayern Munich, Inter Milan, AC, Juve. Big factor teams, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Oh, James, what are you thinking? Who would you like to see turn up at the lane?
Because we're second seed, right? Aren't we? Second pot.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure who's in first spot, actually. Sorry, here's another question. Do we know when the Champions League group draw is?
The 22nd of August. Thursday, the 22nd of August.
Brilliant. I'd like one of the real big boys, actually. I wouldn't mind Madrid. Wouldn't mind Real Madrid, actually. Yeah, I'd love that because I think we could get a result against them in the lane. And what a statement that would be, Last time we played them in the groups, battered them 3-1 at home. So I'd love that.
I'd like to see us play PSG because I think Owen just touched on it. I mean, I'm not a massive Neymar fan, but obviously they've got Mbappe. They've got loads of big players. I think that would that's like quite a glamour tie, isn't it? If we play PSG.
You can already picture Romero two-fitting Neymar and being sent off 10 minutes into the game.
He just literally smash him to bits, wouldn't he?
It'd be so.
And then he'd be putting it on Instagram, wouldn't he? Look what I've just done. But yeah, that game, that for me sounds like a game I'm not sure who else is in pot one, but I should imagine Real Madrid are in there.
Bayern.
Bayern. I still want Bayern. Last time we played them. Yeah, well, we're not going to play those.
Yeah, obviously. I don't know, because Bayern are a lot weaker. I mean, they brought Mane in, but they lost Lewandowski. If you look at their average point tally in the Bundesliga, sorry, this is very boring. They've been on a downward trend for the past 3-4 years. So I don't know. Maybe we could beat them. I'm just saying. I don't think they're unbeatable. I don't think they're as good as maybe people think they are. I think the two best teams in Europe last season, aside from Madrid, was City and Liverpool, and we didn't lose to either of them.
Yeah.
We can show up in big games. We shouldn't be afraid of anyone.
Yeah, Jeff's put down here Inter, PSG, Madrid. Yeah, I think it's exciting, isn't it, to be back in the? I mean, we hit the heights right at the height of getting to the Champions League final, playing those teams, and it was great, wasn't it? And then we're sort of had the shit out of that conference, what they call it, the Europa Conference League.
Yeah, the Conference League, yeah.
You just don't get the same. You don't get the same buzz, do you, Flicks? Flicks, you don't get the same buzz about that, do you, mate? Playing in that level.
It's just a waste of time. The whole competition is just a joke. It's just a waste of time, mate.
Would have been nice to have won that trophy, though, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would have done, yeah, because it's silverware at the end of the day. But nah, not for me, mate.
No, so yeah. I think what someone got here. Here we go. Hotspurious. We got Real Madrid. That'd be decent. Won't mind them. If you're going to win it, you got to beat the best, haven't you? Eintracht Frankfurt would probably be.
That would be a good game.
That would be a good game in a good draw for us, wouldn't it? If they win our group,
their atmosphere is great.
Yeah, City not going to happen, obviously, because AC Milan. Not a bad. That'd be a decent game, wouldn't it? Like you said, Owen, you like one of the Italian big boys. I'd like to avoid Bayern Munich, if I'm honest. They pumped us. Remember when they pumped us at the lane? What was it, 7-2? We did all right for half hour. Then they just pulled our pants down. I don't want to be seeing any more of that. Yeah, PSG, like we've said. Porto Ajax. If we had one of those two, you'd be quite happy with that, wouldn't you? In the be in the second seed. So move on then. Apparently, am I right in thinking that there's going to be a kit launch for the third kit tomorrow, James? We've got on the run sheet here that AJ Tracy has been spotted wearing the third shirt. Is that right? When it loads, there we go.
There we go.
Now, what we thinking, lads, is that an official shirt he's been allowed to wear as a build-up to tomorrow, or do we think he's been shopping on DH Gate?
Mate, let's be honest, it's better than the away kit. I can't stand the away kit. I think it's absolutely poor. So to be honest, I'd have this one.
You like that one better?
Yeah, definitely.
Can we take the comments off because we're covering Flick's face up, James? I know, yeah.
Sorry,
I like to see his face when he's talking. Do you like that kit then, Flicks? I mean,
Yeah,
I'll
definitely.
find. Yeah,
It's a lot better than the away kit. The away kit is terrible.
Yeah, would you purchase that?
Yes.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah.
Owen, what are you thinking? Firstly, do you like the kit? Secondly, official or DH gate?
I think obviously he has some minor affiliation with the club, so I'd assume it's going to be official. And he is just teasing. He's probably been asked to do it by the club, so I'd assume it's some strange form of advertisement. He's he's got too much because of his, media prowess. He has too many people to go through to make a mistake like that, or just to troll everyone. It wouldn't make sense.
So it's an official top then. I'm taking your word for it. And what do you think?
I think it looks nice. Obviously, it'll be clearer to see in better quality images tomorrow if it does come around tomorrow.
Yeah.
I've seen it posted out quite a few places, to be honest. So yeah, it's definitely that one.
Yeah, I've seen that kit a few times. Obviously not officially, but yeah, they're not usually wrong. These manufacturers that people get them from that aren't the official ones, are they? When they get them.
That's it.
James, what do you reckon, mate? You having that third kit?
Do you know what? It's got a bit of a funky pattern, doesn't it? It's quite noisy. I like it. It looks very. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a Hawaiian shirt a little bit. I like it. It's quite out there. I like it actually.
Yeah.
I really hate the boring home kit. I get, keep it fairly basic. It's a home kit, traditional. Not got a problem with that. But with away kits and especially third kits, you can kind of do what the fuck you like, can't you? You can have some weird patterns and shit on it. And I really hate. I remember the season we got to the final. Was it our third kit?
Yeah,
that kit was really
shade.
Funky. Yeah, I liked that. I prefer when they push the boat out and go with these kind of weird colours, like they mess around in Photoshop or something. I like this. I don't like our away kit this season. I almost always prefer our third kits for some reason, which is probably because of what I said. I like it. If I'm gonna buy a Spurs shirt, from what I've seen so far, it's going to be this one, unless there's something horrible on the front.
I mean, obviously, as people who have seen me on here before, I like white for the home, navy blue away, and yellow or light blue for the third. But I do quite like that. A lot of these kits look like, you look at it and you go, that is fucking vile. But when the players have them on and they're all, they look $1 million in them usually, don't they? So, yeah, that's a tidy kit. I don't mind that. Right then. So, Friday night, we have Caller on with Flat Cap Jack, HG, and we've got a Chelsea fan. So if people who are watching now, if they could tune in to watch that, we'd appreciate it. It should be a good show, good panel, good lineup there. And then for the first time after the Chelsea game, me and James's dad, John, will be doing an instant reaction to the Chelsea match. So hopefully you'll find us in good spirits. And it'll be a positive show. It'll be our first one, and it'll be brilliant. But we'll wait and see. Go on, James.
Can I just add? I'll be watching the Spurs Chelsea game with not my father. I'll be watching it with my mum's father, who is, guess who he supports?
Chelsea.
Yeah, I'll be watching that game. So
I'm watching it with a massive group of Chelsea fans as well. So I think I'm in for a rough one.
Oh, Fritz, where are you going to be watching the game on Sunday?
Sorry?
Where were you going to be watching the game on Sunday?
Not quite sure yet, but I'll be definitely watching it.
Yeah, will you sort of guy who likes to watch it at home so nobody can get on your nerves, or are you going to be out and you don't care who's around?
No, I'll be amongst people, obviously.
Yeah,
a few Tottenham fans and all that.
Yeah, see, I've got to a point where I'm sort of I can't handle the sort of, if you're in a pub and I'm round, there's not many Spurs fans around here, so I'd end up being in a bar on my own. And, well, not on my own, obviously. I'd probably go out with someone. But there'd be more fucking Chelsea fans. Yeah. And I'd just be sat there and there's always some snide bastard and they're giving it and you're just like, shut up. And But so I should probably be watching it at home, ready to jump on, get online, and hopefully me and John can. Everybody will be buzzing because we've beat them, and me and John can have a good old natter about it. But yeah, so basically then that we've been going hour and 25 minutes now. So first of all, I'd like to say thanks for coming on this week, Flicks. Tell us about your channel and what you do and where people can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at Only One Flicks, Instagram as well. It's obviously there, Flicks__1, Twitter, everything. But it literally be in your description down below. I'll send all the links to you. That's the easiest way to find me. But yeah, mainly Instagram and the YouTube channel, to be honest.
Yeah,
and I've been clothing as well.
Yeah, you said you're going to come on, start doing a bit more YouTube stuff, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, definitely. I've had past couple of months. I've not been able to do my own stuff on the channel, but slowly building up once again.
And you've got your own clothing range, mate. That's right, yeah.
Yes. I've got my own clothing brand going just over a year now, called Official. Slowly building it up. But yeah, man, I'm hard working, grafter.
Yeah, going all right, is it, mate? The clothing, is it selling all right?
Slowly building up.
Yeah.
Slowly.
Yeah. But you're happy with it, yeah?
100%.
Good man. Owen, nice to see you for the first time, mate. Enjoyed coming on?
Yeah, loved it. Brilliant.
So, hang on, where will you park your tractor outside the pub? We use 2 spaces in Evesham, Dave. We don't have cars, mate. We got 2 great big spaces. So yeah, just pull in, mate, and park up. And there's honour among farmers, mate. So we don't tend to nick each other's tractors. So everything's cool. James, as always, mate, you seem very sober tonight, mate.
Surprisingly,
very coherent. So once again, thanks for that, mate.
No worries. Thanks for having me on as ever. I love the wins big club. Thank you, Matt, for brilliant hosting. I thank both you lovely guests for being here. And thank you, everyone in the comments, for your insightful comments. Being great.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. There's so much Spurs content out there. So every view we get, we appreciate. People just can't get enough of Spurs. So, yeah, we've got loads of content. Like I said, we've got our first, not our first, but of this season, post-match review. Like I told you about Friday. Keep an eye on us on the socials because we're forever posting about what we're doing. And follow us. Like and subscribe to our channel. And just get involved. We want people in the comments getting involved. We want to answer your questions. So get people over. Tell them about us. Hopefully, we can get, obviously, Flicks back on it at some point. Owen back on it at some point. Yeah, great. Like I said, get involved. Great to have you all involved. Anyway, all I've got left to say, boys, is come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Come on.
Come on, you Spurs.